In the last 2 to 3 years, there have been several new defensive security training providers, and all of them all offering practical training at different levels of a cybersecurity career. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the entire state of defensive cybersecurity training as of 2023 going into 2024. Everything that you know, everything that you don't know about cybersecurity training, all the providers, what they have to offer, the cost, the different learning paths, what level you should be at for these training, or what level these training can get you into, all of that in this video. Let's get right into it. The very first one is a new player in town, which is Coursera. Coursera this year partnered with both Google and Microsoft to bring their new Google Cybersecurity Professional Certificate as well as the Microsoft Cybersecurity Analyst Professional Certificate. Now, both of these programs I've done complete review videos on, so I'm not going to be going too deep into them in this video because I've broken them down in separate videos. I'll leave links to those videos in the description as well as somewhere on the screen. Go check them out. But these are new players, and these ones are more so tailored as certificate programs, and they're also very much centered around defensive security, preparing you for a security operations or a security analyst career at the very entry level. So if you're looking to getting started, just building a solid foundation, these two are a good start, and they're very recent. A lot of really great reviews on them already. I myself have done videos on them. There's several other creators who've done videos on them. As a matter of fact, I think these ones are sort of the new programs that are going to start fading out, the whole CompTIA Security Plus, Network Plus, A Plus thing, because of the fact that they're just a lot more comprehensive, more tailored, more practical as well, and actually show you how to apply those skills in a more practical sense. So again, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but for example, this Google one has, different modules on things like Splunk, Linux, right? You're learning actual practical skills. It also has a really in-depth module, I believe, on Python, a course on just like Python automation, which is also pretty good, especially if you're starting out your career. It's a really good skill to learn. SQL, all of those really great things. Again, I made a video on this, so definitely check that out. So this is the first one. Again, very recent, very new, but they're definitely making waves in this one. Now with the cost, this is about $50 a month, so it's designed for you to finish in about 6 months, but I know people who have finished it in less time, so definitely take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, this is definitely one I actually personally recommend because it's actually very good to get started with if you really are not familiar with cybersecurity and you want to get a start without being intimidated with programs like Network Plus or Security Plus. I mean, certifications like those ones. Same thing for the Microsoft one. This one is a lot more tailored towards Microsoft. The Google one is a bit more agnostic, but this one is a lot more tailored towards Microsoft Azure, and also like the fact that it also has some emphasis on cloud security, which is also an upcoming skill, right? But the cloud security here is not as agnostic. It's more Microsoft Azure focused, but the skills still translate very well. Again, I did a video on this, so definitely check that out. But this course goes into really fundamental things that you should know about, as well as more Microsoft identity and security solutions. So I think it's also a good one if you really want to focus on like more cloud security stuff and also are interested in learning about Microsoft. I think you could potentially do both the Google Cybersecurity one and Microsoft Cybersecurity one as well if you have the time and the money, and you're able to kind of go through it. I think that combination would be a really great start before you start heading into murky waters. All right, let's go on to the next one. This is also sort of a new player in town in terms of defensive security training. So if you're familiar with TCM Security has historically been known for their offensive training, their PMPT, right? The Cyber Mentor made this really major practical ethical hacking course, as well as the Zero to Hero course, made a lot of waves with that. But they recently started adding more defensive training to their training catalog, right? You can see here they have this practical malware analysis and triage course by this guy here, Mike Kiley is his name, and really great guy, really knowledgeable about malware analysis. He's a principal researcher at HackTheBox, so definitely knows what he's talking about. And this course is really in-depth when it comes into setting up your malware analysis lab, static analysis, dynamic analysis. So it goes deep into malware analysis, advanced static analysis, advanced dynamic analysis. You also analyze some malware by yourself as well. So this is really in-depth. If you really want to go deeper into malware analysis on the defensive side, this course could definitely get you started. But TCM actually took this a step further and created a certification from this program. So this is the Practical Junior Malware Researcher, and this is basically based off of the Practical Malware Analysis and Triage course. And basically, if you take this certification, it basically testifies to the fact that you are able to analyze malware using different methodologies and create rules, or and I believe a report as well as to the malware they analyze, right? Could also create detection rules. So I think this is also a really good start as well. I think malware analysis is a very niche skill that not a lot of people have, and if you're good at malware analysis, like you could really propel your career in the defensive side forward. So I think this is a skill that if you want to really like dig into, definitely take a look at this training program as well as the certification as well offered by TCM Security. I do plan to take this sometime in the future when I have some time, but malware analysis is a skill that's in demand, and if you have the knowledge and skill for it, like you're gonna do well in a lot of defensive security settings. The link to the course and the certification will be in the description below. Also, the links for the Google Cybersecurity certificate as well as the Microsoft certificate will be in the description below. Now, the next course is the Detection Engineering for Beginners course, which is also a recent one from TCM Security. Now, this one is like very much focused on detection engineering. If you guys know, as of the time I'm recording this video, I'm still a detection engineer at Datadog. So this is something that's really close to my heart. Purchased this course when it first came out, but I haven't had the time to go through it. But I do think it's really, really good. It's about 11 hours of content, giving you fundamental knowledge, helping you set up a lab for different log sources, elastic setup, going over an attack scenario. Now, in terms of detection engineering, a lot of what we do is threat emulation, going over attack scenarios and actually validating those attacks and creating alerts and detections from those attack scenarios. So you go over a couple of them. Also, like automated tools like Atomic Red Team, setting up a development environment, which is also pretty important in detection engineering, dealing with Elastic API, GitHub, some metrics, and then in conclusion. This course was developed by this guy, Anthony, who has a pretty significant amount of experience in detection engineering, SIEM engineering, security operations. So from what I see, he definitely knows what he's talking about in terms of this course. I do plan to take this course myself, but till then, I do think just at face value, it's a pretty good course. And a link to it will be in the description as well. The next course here, again, is another Windows Forensic course. This course is another addition to TCM Security, provided by Marcus Scober, Blue Cape Security. Blue Cape Security, I believe, is an independent training provider, but I do believe they provided this course through TCM Security. And this one goes a lot more into just Windows forensics, which if you're in security operations, you're most likely going to be mostly dealing with Windows Active Directory. So I think this is a pretty good one to take a look at. Now, the reason why I started with TCM Security courses as, one of the individual first courses I wanted to point out is the cost, right? TCM is incredibly affordable, right? For example, if you look at the pricing here, right, this course is included in their all access membership for just $30 a month. Now, I believe this might be their only pricing as of the moment, because I didn't know like they recently updated their pricing, but this course is, in their all access membership, and for $30 a month, I think, and you have access to everything. I think this is like bonkers. Like, this is great value, amazing value, as a matter of fact, right? So that's why I started with TCM Security. It's very affordable. Same thing with this course. It's part of their all access membership as well. So you can't really go wrong with these courses. They're high quality, high value from great instructors with a lot of experience and are delivered at a very affordable cost. So I recommend TCM Security for these reasons, just majorly the affordability. Definitely check it out. Highly recommended. Heath is a great guy himself, so I'm pretty sure he only deals with people who are great, very knowledgeable, and it helps them put out amazing courses like this. Now, speaking about affordability, let's move on to TryHackMe. TryHackMe is probably one of the most popular cybersecurity training platforms out there. Very ubiquitous with cybersecurity training. Like, when you think about cybersecurity training, the first thing that comes to your mind is HackTheBox and TryHackMe, right? TryHackMe initially started with their CyberDefense path, which was very broad. So, very focused on fundamental stuff, high level stuff. I'm actually like 30% done with this, never completed it. Security operations, threat emulation, incident response, and malware analysis. Now, this was their first attempt at building like some sort of security operations, defensive security sort of learning path. And ever since then, recently, actually this new year, they have developed a lot more. I think they developed the SOC level 2 as well as the security engineering pathway as well. They also had the SOC level 1, I believe, either this year or last year. But they've spent a lot of time like really developing labs and training for cyber defense. And TryHackMe is incredibly affordable. I'm not quite sure about the exact price because I've not been a subscriber for a while, but for just around $10 a month, you're getting all this. It's amazing. Like, all these labs, these modules you can use to learn, as well as like different labs you can use to practice. It's amazing. By the way, if you're interested in probably winning a TryHackMe subscription, join the CyberDefenders Academy Discord committee. Link in the description. We do giveaways from time to time, and sometimes we give out TryHackMe subscriptions. So join the Discord. Link in the description. Now, I think because the cyber defense path was like pretty, broad, they wanted to be a lot more specific. So they built this SOC level 1 for, a more junior security analyst person who's looking to just get started. And it focused a lot on, the really basic stuff, and a lot of frameworks as well, which, it's good to understand the lingo, like MITRE stuff, diamond model, unified kill chain. Like, I still talk about these things in conversations at work or even in interviews as well, right? So it goes over cyber threat intelligence as well. Pretty, agnostic tools, things around traffic analysis, right? So, your Wireshark, right? Your Snort, your network miner, Zeek, Brim, all of that fun stuff. And then it also goes into endpoint security, which is very important if you're doing security operations, right? Understanding your Windows event logs, understanding how Sysmon works, OS Query, Waza, right? All these really agnostic tools that get you familiar with monitoring activities on endpoints. And then of course SIM, right? You're gonna spend a lot of time in a SIM, so it goes over an introduction to SIM, ELK, it's open source, practically set it up yourself. I might actually be making a video on how to build your own SIM using ELK. Also something to like practice, right? Splunk, which is like the most popular one out there, how to handle incidents in Splunk, and also a challenge room to help you actually practice the skills you've learned. Now some more forensics and incident response stuff, so like Windows forensics, some Linux forensics, Autopsy, right, which is a tool that you can use for disk image analysis, Redline, Cape, Volatility, Velociraptor, Hive, an intro to malware analysis. So it really primes you for when you're working as a junior analyst in that security operations center. And finally, phishing. When I was an intern, I spent a lot of my time analyzing phishing emails, so understanding like phishing fundamentals, how phishing emails work, right, how to analyze them, how to prevent it, and also how to analyze a phishing email, right? So this is really fundamental stuff. I think this pathway is packed with a lot of really interesting and really core skills that every junior security analyst should know, right? So thinking about this, combining this with like some knowledge from TCM security with like the practical malware analysis course or the detection engineering course, like you could very much be a very strong candidate for a SOC level 1 position, all practical. Now SOC level 2, right? So like you've taken a SOC level 1, you want a bigger challenge, right? You want to build your skills, or you're already an analyst, right? You're already at level 1 and you want to start looking to progress to level 2. Now this is where you start going into more log analysis stuff, right? How logs work, collection, all of those things, right? Of course, log analysis is important at level 1, but at level 2, where you're going to be doing some threat hunting, some deeper investigation, you have to have a deeper understanding of log analysis. Next is Splunk, advanced Splunk, as a matter of fact. So like how to create dashboards, reports, right? Manipulations, fix a parsing issue as well, right? So it's like now you're doing a little bit more complex tasks within Splunk. So digging deeper into using Splunk, right? And you can also use Splunk to set up a SOC lab, which is also a pretty cool thing. I built a cybersecurity lab, and this is always a flex that I like to bring out. If you search for a cybersecurity home lab on Google, well, aside from all the sponsored posts, well, the first lab here is Grant's Cybersecurity Home Lab, which now is number 1. Mine used to be number 1, but I guess Grant's Cyber Academy Home Lab is a lot more up to date. But as you can see here, like it's one of the first 5 results if there were any ads. But it's kind of a flex. I used to be number 1, but I guess I'm no longer number 1. Time to find what I'm gonna be number 1 for on Google search. But yeah, subtle flex there. But yeah, back to TryHackMe SOC level 2, you can see another advanced ELK, right? And you saw initially you go over ELK in the SIM section, right? Just some basic stuff. But now you're going to more advanced ELK stuff, right? Just like you're doing more advanced Splunk stuff. Now you're going to detection engineering, right? So you're looking at introduction, how to like actually detect threats, right? And then feeding threat intelligence into detection engineering. Sigma, which is a generic signature format for SIM systems. It's pretty generic, it's pretty agnostic, so you can use it for any SIM system. SigHunt, right? Aurora EDR, a natural EDR. Also learned about SORT, which is security, orchestration, automation, and response. This is like digging deeper to taking more responsibilities, practically wearing your big boy shoes as a SOC level 2 analyst. Now threat hunting, this one is also something you could be doing at level 2. Sometimes it's reserved for level 3, but here you're introduced into like hunting, right? Looking at hunting for a foothold, pivoting, some actual hunting activities as well. Threat hunting is like it's an art, and you have to actually like spend some time doing it to actually figure it out and actually have some sort of methodology. So I think it's a really good start into that for this SOC level 2 pathway. Threat emulation. Now one thing I think is really underrated in cybersecurity is threat emulation. Like it's like we know about it, but we just like kind of like don't talk about it. But I do a little threat emulation on my end as a detection engineer for cloud environments, right? Basically using threat emulation for detection validation. You need to know how to emulate and execute adversarial activities in order to know what it looks like on the defensive end, and then build actionable detections and response playbooks for those attacker activities. Matter of fact, I actually created a threat emulation framework for Datadog right here, and I also created a blog for it. Let's see if I can find it. AWS threat emulation and detection validation Datadog. All right, there it is. So I basically created this blog just to outline how you can emulate AWS threats with Datadog's Stratus Red Team, which is an open source tool you can use to emulate threats within cloud environments, and then also detect these threats within our Datadog Cloud SIM. Basically, it just goes over how you can emulate these threats with Stratus, and then look at what they look like within our Cloud SIM, right? And then went over a couple of different attacks, and then you could also use another tool called threat test for continuous validation. So basically you define the actual attack you're trying to emulate and the expected outcome, and it should show up, right? So if you want to take a look at this, I'll leave a link to it in the description. But I just wanted to dig a little deeper into threat emulation because it's a really good skill to have if you're going to be doing detection engineering, and sometimes it's a response, right? If you're in a small team, you're doing like tabletop exercises where you actually have to like emulate attacker activities, it's a really good skill to have, whether it's on-prem or even in cloud environments, right? So this is definitely one thing that would take you a step further if you're just a level 1 analyst. It's a response. Now, as a level 2 analyst, you're taking up a lot more responsibilities. You're wearing your big boy pants because now you have to start dealing with the response. You have to start being an incident commander. You have to start doing deeper analysis into things to find out the root cause and all of those things. So this guide you through all of that. And then malware analysis. So a bunch of digging into different malware analysis things, and learning all these different methodologies, whether it's static or dynamic, reverse engineering or anti-reverse engineering, and a bunch of challenges for you to also practice. Now just imagine like you learn all these skills, right? And you kind of combine this malware analysis skill and dig deeper into it with the TCM Security Junior Malware Researcher certification, or the TCM Security Malware Analysis and Triage course, or the Detection Engineering one from TCM Security right here, or the Windows Forensic one, right? You learn the basics here, right? Or you learn some things here, and then you dig deeper into it by practicing and building your skill, and maybe further expanding it from these different providers. That's how you build a wider and a deeper breadth of knowledge. Again, I'll leave a link to this path in the description below so you can check it out. By the way, I was wrong about the price. It's about $14 a month for TryHackMe, but I still think that's still pretty great for what you get access to, and students get 20% off. So you're getting 20% off that. 20% off is like 14, well, that's 10% of 14 is about 1.4, I believe, and 20% of that is going to be 2.8, so like I guess about $12. Am I getting that math right? Yeah, 2.8. Yeah, my mental math is still good. So basically this is affordable and I think you should check it out. I'll leave a link to this again in the description below. Oh, again, this is my threat emulation guide that I built in Datadog. Definitely check it out if you're using Datadog, or you actually kind of want to build out something for like basic threat emulation for your environment. I think this is SIM agnostic, so you can try it out, and these are some detections or expected signals you should see on your SIM. If you're not seeing it, then maybe you should try out Datadog. This is not a sponsored post. All right, the next path we have from TryHackMe is the security engineering path. This is a really cool one because security engineering skills are not ones that you can be like, oh, these are the exact skills you need to be a security engineer. It's all over the place because there are different types of security engineers. And that being said, I should have the videos for security engineering careers out by the time you're watching this video. If not, I'm working on a series about different security engineering roles, what they do, responsibilities, and how they differ from each other. So if it's not out yet, hopefully it will be out soon, and I'll leave a link to it in the description. If not, keep an eye out for it. Now, security engineering, basically this starts with basic security engineering principles, and you can see here it already starts with cryptography. Intense, right? No, it's just giving you the basics of cryptography, right? Getting you started, and then identity access management. Now this is something that's really cool, but not really like dog deep into. But I do like that TryHackMe is bringing this into introduction to security engineering, because identity and access management is pretty important in any organization. Now this goes into threat and risks, governance, threat modeling, risk management, vulnerability management, and then into network and system security. So like hardening systems, like security network, securing Linux systems, hardening Microsoft Active Directory, network devices, network security protocols, virtualization and containers, introduction to cloud security, auditing and monitoring, and then goes into software security. So OWASP Top 10 2021, API security ones, the secure software developer lifecycle, secure application security testing, dynamic application security testing, weaponizing vulnerabilities, DevSecOps, and a bunch of other things. Now I think this is like a little bit all over the place. I think this I don't think you should do just the security engineering path. I think you should do at least the level 1 and level 2 before the security engineering one, because a lot of security engineering skills are coupled with analytical skills. So you basically empower analysts, and if you don't know what analysts are doing or how they do it, then you're basically walking blind. So definitely recommend doing level 1, SOC level 1 and SOC level 2, or having some experience before going into security engineering 1, or else you're just gonna have like really basic knowledge from what I see, but still a good path to go through nonetheless. Again, I'll leave a link to this in the description. Next one we have is Blue Team level 1. Now this one is a program, a training program, and it's training certification after my own heart. I have been a fan of Security Blue Team for years now. They've been around for like 2 or 3 years now, 4, and I think they were one of the better pioneers of practical training. They're one of the best practical security training providers out there. Now, there are other certifications or programs out there that might be a bit more intense, but a Blue Team level 1 is definitely solid, right? This is a really good starting point for anyone getting started in cybersecurity that wants to do security operations, right? If you're like a a level 1 analyst and you want to do security operations, this one is like this is for you, right? Essentially. Now I know I'm throwing a lot of things at you. I think for you to decide, decide on where your money is at right now, what you can afford, how much time you're willing to spend, and then choose which one that works best for you. Now I think ultimately a combination would be great, but I think just choose what works best for you. Now I've done videos, countless videos on Blue Team Level 1, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but it's a great program, teaches you a lot, and I think it's pretty steep in price, but still affordable for what you get from it. So definitely, you know, one of the better priced ones for the amount of information you get from it. Everything from security operations to phishing, threat intelligence, digital forensics, Splunk, which is the SIM, and then incident response. This is a really good one. Now the Blue Team Level 2 is the second one. It's like the advanced security one, right? It's like, you know, goes deeper into malware analysis, threat hunting, advanced SIM, vulnerability management, right? This is a more advanced one. Now it's much steeper at that price level, which is like over $2,000. So this one I haven't done yet. Maybe I might do it in the future. It falls under my radar, but this is one that, you know, it's like, you know, a level above the Blue Team Level 1, right? It's aimed towards people who are 2 to 4 years of experience in security. Definitely recommend doing the Blue Team Level 1 before the Blue Team Level 2 because, you know, they kind of like somewhat build off each other, right? Again, I haven't done this one, but definitely one that, you know, you could check out. Next, they have these free courses, right? They have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these free courses. I also recommend these courses because they're free, right? Teach you some really basic stuff. So definitely check them out. I did it myself. I made videos on them. I'm not gonna go too deep into them, but there's another one for vulnerability management, another one for threat hunting, another one for digital forensics, another one for network analysis, and another one for open source intelligence. Again, beyond just their certification programs and their trainings and their courses, Security Blue Team also has their Blue Team Labs online platform, which is a platform where you can build skills in incident response, digital forensics, security operations, reverse engineering, and threat hunting. I myself have personally developed a security lab for them. I developed a AWS digital forensic and incident response lab for them. It's called Grumpy Dev. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. Definitely a good one to get your hands dirty with if you're doing AWS incident response. So again, check it out. But this is like a platform where you can practice different things. I have used it in the past. I no longer have a subscription, but definitely great to build your skills when it comes to like incident response, digital forensics, threat hunting, and they're always adding new labs. They also have a Discord, pretty supportive. Now for the price, again, a little steeper than some others, but it's reasonable for the value that you get, right? It's kind of around the same range as like some other ones. So definitely recommend this. Now this next one is one that you might not actually expect, but HackTheBox actually released a defensive security certification. Yeah, I know. The HackTheBox Certified Defensive Security Analyst Certification. Now, this one came to me as a surprise because I didn't really see HackTheBox as like that defensive security platform, but this is actually really good stuff. Like I've actually gotten a chance to like go through it at a high level, not actually the training, but like actually like look at, you know, what it covers, and it's actually really good. It's really, really good. I think it's one of the ones I also recommend alongside the Blue Team Level 1 and the Certified CyberDefender, which I'm going to be going over in a second. But this goes over a bunch of really cool things, right? Like I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of things that went into this, right? Incident handling, so security, monitoring, event logs, threat hunting, Splunk, attacking events, network analysis, IDS, IPS, malware analysis, right? JavaScript obfuscation, Yara, forensics, detecting Windows attack, and Splunk, security instant reporting. And now these high level things don't do enough justice, which you actually go through in these different modules, because I actually took a look at some of it. It's really in depth, and it's also like decently priced as well, right? I think if you go in here, not register, see, you go into pricing, you can see with the US dollars, right? You can get access to this for about $500 a year, and an exam voucher. You have to actually complete the job role path and get an exam voucher for you to actually start the examination process. The exam voucher costs $210, but does not include the modules, right? So ultimately, like you will be paying for both the modules and the exam voucher. So I think just, you know, the FAR 90 a year might just be like the best one to go through. I mean, except you just want to do like, you know, the 120 plus 210, but at that point you're almost at 400. So it really just depends on like how you want to do it. But still, I think this is very affordable depending on how you do it pricing. And yeah, you could get a lot of value out of this. And it also comes with 2 exam attempts, just like the Blue Team Level 1 and I think the Blue Team Level 2. So your voucher comes with 2 exam attempts, which is great. Means that, you know, if you fail the first time, you have an opportunity to actually take the exam a second time and, you know, try that again. So I would also leave a link to this in the description. The next one is the CyberDefenders platform. Now, CyberDefenders, another one that I've grown to actually love and like this year. So on the CyberDefenders platform, I want to first talk about the Certified CyberDefender. Now, I took this training and the certification. I've done multiple videos on this, so not gonna go too deep into this, but this training is like one of the best things I've ever done in my life. life, right? Very challenging, very in-depth, but really great. Now, if you compare this to the Blue Team Level 1, the CDSA, this is somewhat a little bit more intense than those two, or maybe just somewhere at the same level, right? It's a bit edgier. Now, I think all these different platforms or all these different courses, whether it's Blue Team Level 1 or HackTheBox, CDSA, or CCD, all have something valuable to offer, but they have their own benefits that some of the other ones don't have. So I think it's another thing, like download the syllabus, look at it and see like what do they teach you, right? And again, there's nothing wrong in taking like all of them if you want to, right? You know, it just covers your knowledge in different places or helps you like solidify your knowledge, you know, over and over again. I don't think anything is wrong with that if you have the financial resources for it, because they teach you different things with different approaches, and I think that's a great way to learn, right? So not going to go too deep into it. I've done multiple videos on it, so definitely check those videos out. I'll leave links to them, actually the entire playlist, because I just make playlists for them. So I'll leave those playlists in the description. Just go check those videos out. They'll help you understand what this has to offer. Now that's just the CyberDefenders training and certification, the CCD. They also have their Blue Team platform, which is Pwned Labs. I'll submit a video about this. I actually did a walkthrough of the S3 credentials hunt challenge. Definitely check that out. Linked in the description below as well. But this is also another great platform with a bunch of labs, right? A bunch of labs. Wow, I never finished this lab. But the point being, they offer both training and labs, just like HackTheBox, just like, you know, Security Blue Team, right? It's like now it's like, okay, what are you gonna choose, right? I think just choose one, get through it, learn as much as you can before going to the next one. I don't think you should have multiple subscriptions at the same time. Like finish up what you're doing at one before going into another one, right? There's enough training and labs in the catalog to exhaust before going into another training provider. That's just my personal. Okay, so quick interjection in the video. It's been a couple of months since I filmed this, and I actually realized that I left out some training providers I wanted to show, about 4 of them. So let me quickly add them in before I go into the next couple of ones I will cover in the rest of the video. The first one is from XINTRA. So this one actually came to my attention when they released their attacking and defending Azure and M365 training. It's more so focused on forensics and detection for Azure and M365. So it definitely is one that you want to go for if you want to learn about Azure M365. Goes over a bunch of different things in regards to like different attacks and how to detect them. Definitely a little bit on the pricier side at $15.50, but I think it's very niche, and it comes from someone who has really good subject matter knowledge in the domain. They also recently released some APT emulation labs, so definitely worth checking out for like cloud. I think there's also some for like other things as well. And then they also recently released another one here, so actually 2. So this one and that one. So this is for the APT hunt and incident response, which is only live, so I'm going to leave that out. And this is for iOS reversing and exploitation. So this is definitely also very niche. So if you're looking for something that like niche like this, definitely worth checking out. The other one I want to go over is Pwned Labs. I've known about Pwned Labs for a very long time, and the one I actually want to point towards is their Linux one, which I'm going to go over here in a second. Let's see their training, and this is the one. So the Linux attack detection and forensics. So this one is about 500 pounds or euros, which will probably be around 600 US dollars. But this one is actually really good in regards to like Linux internals and detection. So if you want to learn more about like Linux stuff, it goes over a lot of things. So network stuff, host stuff, SIM stuff, rule-based log analysis, forensics and IR, and yeah, you basically have a ton of really in-depth like Linux DFIR stuff. I do plan on going over this when the time is right. I haven't had the time yet, but yeah, this is also a really good one as well. Next one is Pwned Labs. This is also recently a new company. They started creating cloud security labs very recently, and they have a lot of amazing stuff, both on the red team and blue team side. But on the blue team side, you can see here blue teams, right? If you go into their labs, all right, so they have a bunch of like stuff. I think they're mainly red team, but the cool thing here is you're able to choose the blue team labs, and then you see here there's a bunch of stuff like detecting threats in the cloud with elk stacks for AWS, hunting the cloud with Splunk for AWS, detecting malicious activity with honey tokens, preventing breaches, intro to AWS IAM. It's a bunch of really, you know, blue team sort of like defensive sort of labs for cloud, and they're adding more and more all the time. They're literally releasing their Thunderdome, I believe, later this month. Probably going to be released by the time I release this video. So definitely a great platform specifically for like cloud security stuff, and they have, you know, very niche stuff, right? Even on the red side, I think there's like things on like Jenkins, right, which is really cool, Azure, Google Cloud, and a bunch of other things as well. So definitely a really good training here. And the final one I want to go over is Invictus IR and their Microsoft Cloud incident response training. It's also one I recently learned about last year, but but they have really good stuff in regards to Azure, IR, audit login, KQL, and a bunch of other things. The reason why I'm looking at this one is because it comes from a reputable provider. So they're actually an incident response company that does a lot of cloud stuff. I've actually read through some of their research, leveraged some of their research for like my own research and like detections and stuff like that. So definitely people who know what they're doing, and I've actually responded to cloud incidents and stuff like that. So definitely a much larger price tag, but I do think it's, you know, quite quality training. You can see all the stuff here. So like, you know, mail stuff, right? Email forwarding rules, which is, you know, really cool stuff. Microsoft 365 and all of the other fun stuff. Yeah, that was it. Let's get back into the main video recommendation. This next one is another surprising one from Offensive Security, right? Offensive Security, OffSec, the makers of the OSCP certification and the OSCE, the OSEE, all of the OS whatever certifications out there, also came out with their own security operations certification, the OSDA, which was very interesting. Now, I've seen other people really like, you know, crap on this certification because of like it's coming from Offensive Security, which is, you know, pretty pricey and has had their fair share of things said about them. But I think this is also pretty quality stuff, right? It's practical as well. Now, I don't think it goes as much into the same depth as some of the other ones I've talked about, but again, it's from Offensive Security, so like it comes with the prestige, right? Again, this is very, very like, I'd say ridiculously priced, right? I cannot personally recommend you go for this if you're not already trying to pursue another certification like an OSCP or something else, as to where like you have the ability to like not just do this certification. It comes like as an added benefit, right? I would rather spend this $2,000 on something like both the Blue Team Level 1, do the Blue Team Level 1 as well as the CCD and the OSDA. Those three, right? I think like you would get more bang for your buck with $1,600 or $2,000 than this if you're not planning to do like the OSCP, right? I can't personally recommend the OSDA. Now, this is not anything against HackTheBox, but from what I see, like I think the other platforms actually like cover this like pretty well. I mean, if we go into the syllabus itself, yeah, it's pretty much stuff that's already covered in all the others. All these things are covered in either the CCD or in the Blue Team Level 1 or the OSDA, right? All these log stuff, SAM is covered in the CCD. Suspicious logins, brute force logins covered in the CCD. Web application attacks, I think that's covered in the OSDA, right? Binary exploitation, I don't know if it's covered in any of those ones, right? But I mean, like there's a lot going on here. I'm pretty sure a lot of like really valuable stuff, but then again, like I'm pretty sure you can cover all this knowledge for like way cheaper on some other platforms. But then again, you know, if you have, you know, access to the training for other reasons, I'll definitely recommend it. Again, I'm not completely like ruling it out because I do see some things are pretty valuable here. So like Python for log analysis, like DevOps, Hunting for login attempts, like automating this stuff, like that's pretty valuable, right? All these things are pretty valuable, but I do think like you could probably get all this knowledge from other platforms and for way cheaper, right? Like I don't see anything that's particularly, you know, stands out to me. But hey, if Offensive Security is out there and you want me to take a look at this and change my opinion, I'm happy to do a sponsored video. Please reach out to me. But there's also an exam guide as well. I'll leave a link to that in the description as well if you do want to check it out. Again, I'm not completely ruling it out. It's definitely, you know, from a reputable provider, but I do think like, you know, pretty steep. All right, another interjection here. I want to add two more courses that I forgot to mention earlier on in the video. The first one is my own Introduction to AWS Threat Detection course. This is one I created last year when I was more focused on detection engineering, but this I think is a really great course for getting started with like detecting threats in AWS. It's very practical. It starts with, you know, introduction and then goes into the Meta Cloud Matrix, learning about like the different aspects of like the Meta Cloud Matrix and how, you know, you can detect threats or identify threats or do some detection gap analysis based off of that. Then also some basic log analysis with AWS, using CloudTrail, understanding CloudTrail, creating your first trail, and then going over different ways you can analyze CloudTrail logs with JQ, and then eventually CloudTrail Lake. So you get your hands dirty with that analysis. Next is investigating compute threats. So everything from different kind of ways that you can attack EC2 instances, how attackers attack EC2 instances, and how to detect those attacks. So enumeration attacks, for example, we go over various ways by which you can, you know, look at those enumeration attacks. We go over stuff like AMI exfiltration, which is, you know, a common one as well. EBS snapshot exfiltration, so go over that as well. And then there's a chapter quiz. Next is investigating IAM threats. So this one is more so just an overview of like access key leakage. So basically going over ways by which access keys are leaked, and then also, you know, some recommendation how to detect them, some malicious IAM user creation, some malicious access key creation, login profile creation, a bunch of other IAM threats. And then next is the storage threats. So you go over how, like, you know, storage systems could be attacked and stuff like that, and how to detect that, and then going over some other logging and monitoring stuff, and then finally some AWS native threat detection with guard duty. So definitely very in depth. The Another one I want to go over is constructed defense. This is a recent one I learned about. So this one is basically a very sort of like detection and like, you know, like sort of very detection engineering heavy course. And it's not really a red team or blue team kind of lab, but it's just a really nice lab and also a nice course for you to like kind of learn different things like executing TCPs and also querying as well. So it goes over different things. So you see this is the architecture right here. I can make this smaller so you can learn about like Active Directory, some Windows stuff, Linux stuff, Kubernetes, AWS, Azure, and you're going to be using the SimilarLogic SIM for detection. And then this is the MITRE heap map, and then there's a bunch of stuff you learn. So stuff like setting up telemetry for different systems, so you can see everything for Linux, Windows, Kubernetes, cloud, detection stuff. So all of these like are Windows attacks, some of these are Linux attacks, Kubernetes attacks, Azure attacks, AWS attacks, and all of that stuff. And this is by Anton. He is a threat researcher at SimilarLogic, and you know, he really knows his stuff. I've read a bunch of his blogs, and when he came out with this course, I thought it was a really amazing course, and I bought it, and I thought it was really great. I also recommended it to my folks in the Discord. So really great course as well for like blue team stuff. I think from the blue team perspective, so very detection heavy, you know, just trying out stuff and seeing like how they work telemetry wise and detections and all of that stuff, querying, and you know, for a multi, you know, system environment, right? It's very, very, you know, very in-depth in terms of like, you know, Linux, Windows, Kubernetes, AWS, and Azure. So I wanted to put that in, but let's get back into the actual video. All right, next is Security, which used to be Elearn Security. Wow, they've come a long way, but this is a suite of certifications, right? They have a ton of defensive security certifications, and some are well known, some are not well known, but they're also one of the major and first pioneers of like practical certifications out there, aside from offensive security. So I would want to recognize them for that, because they did that, right? They started out this whole thing. But truth is, like, from what I hear, like, there's not been a lot of updates in their training, but we can still go over them, right? I do feel like with Security and them now, there's a possibility of, you know, it getting better. Again, this also has its own like price and cost things, but we'll explore that in a bit. Actually, let's just take a look at now. So for example, this is pretty expensive. It's about $600, right? Just for that. Now you can do add-ons, you know, make it a bit cheaper. I also know like they used to have like a yearly subscription as well, which could give you access to multiple things, and this comes with about 3 months of premium. So I don't know, I think it's really up to you to decide like what your budget is, and also like what this certifications do for you. I'm releasing a video probably before this, and I show you how you should approach certifications in 2024, like how to actually question why you're taking a certification and if it's valuable to your career. So I'll definitely recommend checking that video out to make sure you're making the right decision. I'll leave in the link in the description. Now this is the Enterprise Defense Administrator. Now this is more so like security engineering based, just like the TryHackMe security engineering path. This one is, you know, focused on a more like infrastructure, governance, risk and compliance, identity, and access management, security administration, right? It's very infrastructure and like corporate security based, right? Now, I don't know much about this certification. I haven't taken it myself, so I can't speak much to it, but I'm just pointing out that this is available if you want to learn about all of that stuff. Next thing is the Elearn Security Digital Forensic Professional. This one is one that's not as common either, but it digs more into defensive. It digs more into forensics and stuff like that. So again, just pointing this one out as well. Don't know much about it. Now the Elearn Security Threat Hunter Professional was a lot more popular. I know a bunch of people who have done it, and it's pretty good. Now I do know like some of it is outdated, but still has really great material. So I'm not gonna completely rule it out. Definitely worth checking out, at least from what I've heard from people who have taken it. Next is the Certified Incident Responder. Now, this one is also another popular one alongside the ECTHB for threat hunting. I've also heard really good things about this one, so I think it's also worth checking out. Again, factoring costs and what value it brings, as well as what you might have learned from other more affordable options, and see what works best for you. I'll leave links to all these things in the description. Next one is Splunk. Splunk released this one in this year, 2023, the Splunk Certified Cybersecurity Defense Analyst. Now again, this is very Splunk focused, but also focused on more like security operations stuff. Splunk has a bunch of certifications, expensive ones, but this one is more so focused around security operations as a SOC analyst. So basically using Splunk for threat hunting, risk-based analysis, risk-based alerting, and industry best practice. Now this one, I really don't know how I feel about it. Now, given that it's from Splunk, I feel like it might be good, because I've taken some Splunk training and it's like pretty okay, but I just don't know what to expect from it, right? Like I don't really see much training for it, but I mean, I might be wrong. That's why I'm taking a look at it right now. Okay, that's kind of weird because I didn't book anything. Sus Splunk. I mean, I did complete the core certified user and still active, but well, I don't really care to look deep into it. Definitely worth checking out if you want to learn more about it or looking at more reviews, but honestly, I can't really say it's much of my cup of tea. Now, Splunk has has some preparation details for you, like this track flow chart here. So basically no prerequisites, you just jump into it. There is a course catalog for it, which just goes into all of these things. I personally feel like the I personally feel like the TryHackMe path could be maybe a lot more better than this, but again, it's Splunk, it's their training, so maybe it's just that good. I mean, worth checking out. Not too expensive, $130, but if you're low on cash, maybe just like focus on the free stuff available. That's my own personal recommendation. Again, this will be linked in the description. Another one is 13Cube. This one is one that I have followed 13Cube on YouTube for a while, so I was actually pleasantly surprised when, you know, they released their courses for Windows memory investigation and Windows endpoint investigation. 13Cube has a bunch of really great videos on YouTube. Like, just that YouTube content alone is enough. Like, it's amazing. But these courses, I took a look at the curriculum and I'm pretty sure they're as good or even better than the YouTube videos that they already make on the channel, right? So that's why I wanted to present to you guys, right? Just these two courses, and there's also like, you know, the bundle as well, which you can of course get for cheaper. But the investigating Windows endpoint ones is a lot more focused on endpoint investigation, right? And just teaching you those things. And this is coming from a guy who actually works at Microsoft, right? All the things that you will find. Now, some of these things are taught in some of the other ones, but this guy is just so good. He knows what he's saying. So I'm pretty sure that you learn a lot more here than you might not see in some of the other stuff like TryHackMe or like CCD or Blue Team Level 1, right? Like, this guy really knows his stuff. Same thing for, this is the bundle, and then same thing for the Windows memory one, right? Definitely worth checking out, in my opinion. Next one here is RangeForce. Now, RangeForce first came out in like, I think 2021 or so, and they were like really aggressive with their marketing, like super aggressive, like trying to like get a bunch of cybersecurity influencers to like promote their stuff, and I actually kind of fell into that trap there. But RangeForce started out, you know, free, mostly free for a lot of people, but after a while they're like, psych, no more free, and you know, went into like enterprise mode, charging more optimized for businesses. Now again, I'm not gonna crap on their hustle, you know, to make more money. Of course, obviously I do sponsored videos on this channel that some of you guys don't like. You've got to make money one way or another to keep the lights on, but it just kind of robbed some of us off the wrong way when like they just yanked out, you know, some of the things we had access to, you know, just because they were changing their pricing model. Well, if you said you're going to provide training and you already have access to the training, why would you like revert that training, right? I just thought it was a really bad move. Made me lose a lot of trust in them, quite honestly. Not because I care for free training or anything, but if I already have access to the training, like, why take away the training from me, right? So bad taste in my mouth, kind of made me lose trust in the company. But again, I want to be fair here and show you what you have access to, right? RangeForce objectively is a great platform, barring my opinions about them. They had really great training. They had the SOC level 1, SOC level 2. It was really good. Like, it was very, very, very. Now, a lot of things have changed, and I know they keep adding more stuff. I can't really see much, but I do think you should try the community edition. Get started with that, learn about what they have access to, what they're showing you and stuff like that, and you know, you can learn a lot from just the community edition alone. So definitely recommend it. I definitely would say that if your budget is not in alignment with RangeForce, definitely look at the other options we talked about. You know, like TryHackMe, Pwned Labs Online, HackTheBox, right? Certified CyberDefender or the CyberDefender Blue Yard Labs before investing your money in RangeForce. That's just my personal opinion, and this is not just about, it's not about, you know, how I feel about them. I just think like it's just very expensive in comparison to some other platforms that you could get your knowledge from. Right, next is Immersive Labs. This one is interesting because I believe I got access to this when I was a student, and I think you have to have like a student email to get access to it. So this is still my student email, but I also think they're also more optimized towards like enterprise. That might have changed, so correct me if I'm wrong, but this is also a good one. Now they have like different paths as well, and it's pretty good. Like, they have pretty good labs as well. The thing is just like, I'm realizing it now. I'm throwing a lot of information out there, but I think I really just want to show you like you have access to a lot. So whatever platform you think gives you the best knowledge possible, then choose that. So this is Immersive Labs, right? A bunch of training, some stuff for cloud security, DevSecOps, AWS attacker techniques, right? It's another great platform, mostly free. It's actually free for a student. So if you're students, definitely check it out for free. So I definitely recommend that. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Not much to say about this one. Not as much known, but a great platform. SANS. Yeah. So it's not an elephant in the room, so I'm not going to call it an elephant in the room, but SANS is very expensive. But if you do have the opportunity to take SANS training, please do. Like, if your employer is sponsoring it, or like you get a scholarship, yes, absolutely do it. But if you think it's worth it to sponsor yourself through like a SANS program, I would say do. But I would say like don't do the individual courses. Go through like their SANS Institute. I think it's better priced. You actually get a degree out of it. So I think it's like a better way to approach it. Otherwise, yeah, SANS is expensive, but undeniably great training. Like, I would love to have like a SANS cloud security class done. Like, I've thought about like like just sponsoring myself through their cloud security program. They're great. Like, they're amazing, right? But incredibly expensive. Maybe hopefully I could get a scholarship sometime in the future. Or SANS, please sponsor me, please. Like, I will take your training. But yeah, moving on. LetsDefend. LetsDefend is a great platform. I think it's like a unique one in a sense that it takes practical learning to a different level. Like you are actually like triaging alerts, right? You're not just doing like isolated investigations, right? So I like it for that. They have different paths. They have their SOC analyst path, their incident responder path, but they have other learning paths as well. So if you go into learn, yeah, everything from detection engineering, malware analysis, threat hunting, AWS, a bunch of really cool paths that you can learn a lot about and really focus around security operations, right? So LetsDefend is definitely great for that. Like a lot of cool things, and the pricing is actually pretty good. So for individuals, pricing is about $16.58 per month. VIP plus is like about $30. That's annually. You can save up to 33%. If you pay monthly, paying about $25 or $40, like it's a lot, but very valuable for what you get access to. Now, the thing about LetsDefend is like it's very niche, right? It's very niche to like very specific like security operations topics, right? You can see like they build out like whole paths around like very specific things, or like around very specific like career paths in security operations, right? So it could be a lot, but you can learn so much from it. It's really, really good. Like look at that, like DWT attack, like F5, the RC detection for this F5 CVE, text for shell, log for shell. Like they were like one of the first people that actually like brought out a lab for analyzing or detecting log for shell when it first happened, right? You can do stuff in like Windows registry, right? It's really in-depth and very niche, right? This goes over just was a goal for cybersecurity, right? Like it's so niche, and I do like it for that reason. It's a lot, but I do think it's like a place where you can come to him like, oh, I want to learn that, let me just pick that course and just like dig deeper into that. Like for example, like Go for cybersecurity. Let's say you're learning Go right now, right? And you wanted to like learn more about Go and how you can apply for cybersecurity, right? This is a path for you to learn that, right? So I just like it for that reason. It's good for that. Next, we have applied network defense. Now this is one that I have been wanting to do like one of their courses for the longest time, but priorities, right? Investigation theory is like so well spoken of in the industry, and it's a course I want to do just because it's very focused on like process of like actual investigating, like why are you doing your investigating and how is your investigation structured. So I do plan to take this course. They have other courses like practical threat hunting, YAR for security analysts, Splunk for security analysts, Sigma, building intrusion honey pots, practical packet analysis, CyberChef, OS query for security analysis, ELK for security analysis, effective information security writing, demystifying regular expressions, and building virtual lab, as well as the Cuckoo's egg decompiled. Now, this is a bunch of very niche courses that, you can learn a lot from. And I like them because of that, right? They're very specific things you learn. And you can also have like CPEs for them. So if you're trying to renew like your CompTIA or your Network Plus or Security Plus, whatever cases, you can build some CPEs from this. Now, the courses are steeply priced for good reason. They're very niche courses, and, it's a training platform owned by an individual. So kind of makes sense, but definitely worth it. Like, I definitely want to take this investigation theory one. Next one is the Anti-Syphon Training. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I've seen some videos from John Hammond going through some of the training in their cyber range, but before I go into their cyber range, like just their course catalog for in-demand or online courses is just like deep, like a bunch of amazing courses here. Like I can't even start digging deep into these ones. Like there's just a bunch of great courses, so definitely worth checking out. They also have a really cool pay what you can option as well. So if you go through the pay what you can option, you basically pay what you can, like just like what it says. I think it's a really great model. Like if you're looking to learn some really core skills, like I remember I did the core skills, the SOC core skills that John Strand ran a couple years ago. Really great course, and I did the pay what you can. And I barely didn't pay anything for it because I couldn't afford to pay much for it. But this is really good, right? And then the cyber range has a lot more stuff. So if you go into the Anti-Syphon cyber range, it's a bunch of things from like binary exploitation, cryptography, cyber deception, forensics, all of those things. Like you can learn a lot from that. Again, they have the on-demand courses as well, and again the pay what you can courses. Definitely worth checking out. Next one is one that I kind of actually found by accident, called Edge Responder. This is for like threat hunting and detection engineering. Now this goes into like how to like detect like very specific things or hunt for very specific attacks. It's very niche as well, but like it's so cool, right? Like it's like one of those platforms that are like so underrated, but it exists out there. So definitely recommend checking it out. Like you're, like they said, become elite. Like I checked it out and like I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. Now the only thing is it's right now mainly focused on Windows and Active Directory. I would hope they like sometime in the future come up with like more cloud stuff, which is what I care much about. Next we have AttackDefense. This I believe used to be owned by Pentester Academy. Yeah, Pentester Academy. A lot of stuff is also under Pentester Academy, but they have a lot of really great labs for learning like Windows security, right? Basic stuff, cloud security, Linux security, container security, DevSecOps. It's just a lot of things. Sometimes it's like labs, sometimes it's actually just video recordings, but great platform as well. I paid the yearly subscription, which is about like $2 something, but you can learn a lot from it. Like I'm actually going through some of the AWS cloud stuff and it's really valuable. So if you're you're more interested in cloud stuff, you could find some of the AWS cloud stuff like valuable. It's more so like offensive related, like you're actually like exploiting like these IAM or S3, and I don't know why that is not loading for me. Oh, there we go. So you're exploiting the services, just to understand like, you know, how attackers would. But there are other like labs and stuff that you could take a look at. So there's a forensic one as well. Now this one is like a bit outdated. I don't know. I don't really know much to say about this one because there's just a lot there. It's just, I don't think it's like structured well enough. But there's like hidden gem pieces like this, right? Like web server log analysis, right? Like SSH logs. Like I've never actually seen that before, right? So definitely worth checking out. Now the final resource I wanted to point you at is DFIR DIVA. Somehow she has like a collection of DFIR resources. Like she does an amazing job of just like going through all these different resources, what they do, their cost. This is probably like your best bet to like decide what works for you, right? So it's very well categorized: events, books, under 1,000, ethical hacking, like honestly, what more could you ask for? Everything, digital forensics, and incident response, right? Everything. Look at literally all the different platforms I mentioned and even more, right? 13Cube. I didn't even talk about Blackbird. Great YouTube channel. Definitely recommend checking them out. First, Ryan Chapman, Sam Boney, like a bunch of just great resources, right? Amazing resources, right? Malware analysis, OSINT, right? All their cybersecurity channels. I hope my channel is there. I see. Wow. CyberDefenders. Well, there it goes. I guess I'm not the best at what I do. Crying eyes, sad, but nonetheless, jokes aside, she has like all these curated resources. You can literally just come here and just like look at Facebook groups, right? Like books. I was gonna go into books, but she just created all these books, right? Tools and distros, right? Certifications, right? Now I believe this could be a lot more updated. Like it's looking kind of lean there, but yeah, it's definitely like, you know, very, very deep in terms of like DFIR stuff, right? Like, okay, this is our experience with like different certifications, right? This is some more courses for, you know, like a lot more updates here, more walkthroughs, how to build your own lab, right? I think it's an amazing resource. Definitely worth checking out. All right, this is a very long video and I hope you made it to the end. My throat is dry, I'm hungry, and I'm thirsty, so please like the video, subscribe if you're new, subscribe, comment down below what you think. Please make all of these efforts worth it. This is a lot of work just to put all these things together. So please like, subscribe, check out my links in the description, check out my newsletter, my LinkedIn Learning course, as well as the Discord. We'd love to see you in there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.